We follow a man named Sam Hayden, a professional hitman whose job is to execute other hitmen who try to retire on their own terms. For Sam, in this dark world, a peaceful retirement is nothing more than a myth. If a killer disappears, it usually means Sam was the one who took them out. His latest target is a legendary contract killer who suddenly walked away in the middle of a mission a few years ago. After a long search, Sam discovers that this man is now living comfortably, hiding in plain sight as a dealer of illegal artwork. To reach him, Sam first heads to the home of a local thug who happens to have direct access to the target. Normally, Sam never involves anyone outside his primary objective, but this thug is a mafia boss who traffics weapons and narcotics, so loose ends are not an option. As soon as Sam arrives at the house, he does not waste any time. He eliminates the mafia boss, then calmly takes his phone and uses it to contact his real target. From there, Sam speeds off toward a luxurious mansion, isolated far from civilization. That mansion is where the retired hitman has been enjoying his new life, far away from the brutality of his past. Sam goes in undercover, posing as a wealthy client interested in buying art, and he is allowed inside without suspicion. Before long, the target appears and welcomes him, offering a seat and a glass of wine. Sam explains that he is looking for a specific painting, not just any piece, but one particular artwork that he wants. Hearing this, the target finally realizes who Sam really is. The man tries to probe him, asking if Sam ever gets tired of a job soaked in blood. Sam simply lets it be known that boredom is not part of his nature. While they talk, Sam is quietly being held at gunpoint, and the target mocks him, saying that young killers like Sam never think about the long term. Sam answers in a relaxed way, pointing out that the older generation has its own weakness. They do not understand technology. A moment later, with a single tap on his phone, Sam remotely triggers an advanced weapon fired from a great distance, and in an instant, his target is taken out on the spot. The next day, Sam heads to a horse racing track to meet his boss, a man named Augustus. This is the leader of the global network that controls contract killers, and his favorite pastime is gambling on races. Here, Augustus makes sure Sam understands his new assignment clearly, and Sam confirms that he will handle every part of the mission on his own. Before Sam leaves, Augustus reminds him of one simple rule. He is being paid for a guaranteed result, the head of his target. With that warning, Sam boards a private jet and flies back to his hometown, since his next target is hiding not far from there. When the jet touches down, Sam steps out and immediately heads to his car. His instincts never rest. He checks every inch of the vehicle before getting in, and this time his paranoia pays off. His detector goes off, revealing a tracker that Augustus secretly planted. Because of the dangers of his profession, Sam has spent his life constantly moving from place to place, never staying long enough for anyone to find him. In this world, he is not supposed to have friends, let alone a wife. But no matter how long someone wanders, everyone needs a place to call home, a place no enemy could ever locate. Sam has that place. In a remote, hidden spot far from any crowd, he is greeted by a woman named Nona, the one person he truly cares about. She has been waiting for him, quietly keeping this sanctuary alive. They talk about Sam's new target, Charles Manigault, a legendary assassin known for hitting targets from miles away. Charles has a reputation for being completely ruthless, willing to finish the job no matter who stands in the way. Yet no one knows why a killer that feared suddenly decided to retire. Sam reminds Nona that he is just as dangerous as Charles ever was. Nona agrees, although she cannot hide her worry for him. Later that night, Sam cannot sleep. He steps outside and begins digging in the backyard until he uncovers a buried wooden crate packed with weapons. He quietly assembles his gear, preparing for whatever is coming. He is not acting out of fear. There is a reason the organization trusts him with the darkest contracts. In this brutal world, anyone who tries to retire will be retired permanently by Sam. He is the exit protocol, the last doorway every hitman must eventually face. And in this world, only one man decides how your story ends. This is exit protocol. The next morning, we see a very different side of Charles, the legendary executioner. At home, he is gentle with his wife, Danique, before getting ready to leave for church. As he heads out the door, Danique asks him to include a prayer for both of them. When Charles arrives at the church, he settles into a quiet moment of prayer, asking for protection for himself and for his wife. But that peace does not last long. Sam appears with a weapon in hand, and in an instant, the entire atmosphere shifts. Charles is ready, and the two of them erupt into a fierce exchange of gunfire right inside the sanctuary. The quiet church turns into a battleground. Charles suddenly disappears from sight, and when Sam moves in to check, Charles steps out from behind him. Instead of finishing the fight, he offers Sam a chance to walk away if he stays out of his life. Sam refuses, and their clash picks up again. But Charles manages to make a quick escape and speeds off before Sam can stop. Meanwhile, Augustus is on the road with two other assassins, Isaac and Anna. Anna is Sam's former fiancée, and she is not here for business. She is here for revenge after being abandoned by Sam on their wedding day. Augustus believes that by the time they arrive, Sam should already be finished with his mission. Back at home, Charles rushes in looking for Danique. She is still in a towel, completely unaware of what just happened. When Charles urgently tells her to get ready, she panics, thinking a mafia gang has found them. But Charles explains that it is not a gang at all. It is only one person, and that one person is enough to end their lives. He grabs their emergency bag with passports and insists they leave everything behind. The house and belongings can be replaced, but Danique's safety cannot. Before they can escape, Sam arrives and opens fire on the home, forcing Charles and Danique to flee under heavy pressure. In the middle of the chaos, Charles reminds Sam that he spared Sam's life back in the church, and that Sam should at least repay that small mercy. Sam rejects the idea completely. Morality has no place in their line of work. Even so, Charles begs for one thing: do not harm Danique. Sam assures him that he never touches civilians. Sam then hints that Charles carries guilt from a mission years ago when a woman died and he later fell in love with another victim. Charles denies it, saying his change of heart came after finding God. But before the two can argue any further, a new threat arrives. A third party suddenly storms the area and starts shooting at both of them. With gunfire coming from all directions, Charles tells Sam that their private duel will have to wait. Sam agrees, and for the first time, the two assassins are forced to fight side by side. In the middle of the shootout, Augustus finally arrives with two hired guns. But instead of joining the fight, he casually turns around and leaves, letting Isaac and the others handle everything. On the battlefield, Charles spots Isaac cutting through enemies on his own. He really is a one-man army. Isaac greets Charles and Sam as if they are old friends, then makes something very clear. If Sam refuses to kill Charles, Isaac will do it himself. Moments later, another figure appears, and Sam is caught off guard. It is Anna, his former fiancée. When Danique asks, Sam admits that he and Anna were once together. Anna has been holding on to years of anger, and she fully intends to take Sam out with her own hands. But Sam acts first, triggering an explosion that knocks her out cold. With no time to spare, Sam drags Charles and Danique to a safer spot. In a stranger's kitchen, Danique almost collapses and begs for water, and luckily a faucet is right there. The next moment, Sam suddenly attacks Charles, fueled by what happened earlier in the church. As Sam tries to make sense of why Isaac is involved, Charles finally reveals the truth. Isaac is after Danique. Danique once witnessed a murder in London committed by an Albanian gangster named Bashkim. The assassin network sent Charles to eliminate her, but he could not bring himself to do it. Charles goes on to say that he knows a lot about Sam as well, including a mission where Sam was contracted to kill a woman. When Sam is about to pull the trigger on Danique, she reveals that she is pregnant. Sam coldly states that pregnancy is not an exception in his line of work. Charles tells him to do whatever he needs to do, but when Sam sees Danique struggling with nausea, something shifts. Instead of finishing the job, he turns around and walks away. On the drive home, Sam finally realizes that the client who hired Augustus to send killers was none other than Bashkim, the Albanian boss. And picking a fight with him is the last thing Sam wants. Once he reaches home, he heads straight to the shed and opens his weapon crate, confused about his own hesitation. Since the beginning of his career, he vowed to complete every contract without fail. He promised never to waver and never to let emotions interfere. Nona appears just before he leaves and urges him to ask Augustus for more time. Sam refuses at first, but as he hits the road, he actually calls Augustus to request an extension. This is something he has not done in 12 years. He also asks about Isaac's involvement. Augustus claims that Charles is not an ordinary target, so the client wanted the best of the best. Sam pushes back, reminding him that he is the top executor, not Isaac. Sam then heads to a private jet hangar, knowing that Charles and Danique will likely try to escape the country. But his calm is immediately shattered when Isaac and Anna show up. Isaac confronts Sam for working with his own target, and Sam fires back, saying he has never had a partner. Isaac then explains that they actually share the same goal. Charles Manigault is trying to escape to Mexico, and Isaac wants Sam to step aside so he can handle the kill himself. Sam refuses at first. He hates when someone tries to take over his job and insists that if Charles is going to die, it should be by his hand. But when Isaac offers to provide proof of death for Augustus, Sam begins to reconsider. After they leave, Sam tries to relax and think through his choices. The moment he sees Charles and Danique arrive, he gets ready to strike. Before he can act, a mysterious group of attackers appears, aiming for Charles as well. Without any warning, Sam opens fire on the intruders, which ends up saving Charles. At the same time, Isaac and Anna show up to finish off the fugitives. But Charles gets to Sam and Danique first, forcing them into a car. The three of them are immediately hit with another barrage of bullets, but Sam manages to get them out of the kill zone. During the escape, Charles finally asks the question on his mind. Why did Sam save them? Sam admits he does not really know. The decision just came to him. Charles points out that now they have a common enemy. Sam tells them he has a safe place where they can regroup. When they arrive, Charles cannot help but mock Sam for bringing his own target into his safe house. Sam ignores the comment and sends them to rest in the back room while he keeps watch. While washing his face to clear his head, Nona suddenly appears. Sam accuses her of making him believe in his own conscience. He reveals the real reason he became the exit protocol for hired killers. His parents were murdered by assassins, and he has spent his life hunting people like them. In his eyes, every target deserves the same pain they brought into the world. But right after Sam pours out his feelings, Nona vanishes, and the truth becomes painfully clear. He has not been talking to Nona at all. He has been hallucinating her spirit the entire time. Sam then joins Charles outside and they talk. Charles warns that their enemies will not stop coming. Sam says he is ready for whoever shows up. As they share a quiet drink, Charles begins to open up. He admits that his life might have turned out very differently if he had met Danique earlier. He goes on to say that he was once just like Sam, obsessed with being the best in a world soaked in blood. But Danique changed him. She made him want to do the right thing, no matter the cost, as long as she stayed safe. Charles even reveals that he decided to retire long before meeting her. He did it simply because it was the right choice, not because of love. Charles heads out to take the first watch, leaving Sam alone with his thoughts. We are then pulled into one of Sam's memories, a quiet day from years ago when he and Nona were having a small picnic by the lake. Sam mentioned that people never get to choose where they die, but if he could, he would want his final moments to be in a place as peaceful as that. Nona walked closer to the water, wanting a better look. Sam followed her, but instead of joining her, he pulled out a gun and opened fire. The memory snaps and Sam jolts awake. It is another nightmare, a reminder of the guilt he carries for taking the life of the only woman he ever loved. The next morning, everything erupts. Armed soldiers surround the house, ready to hunt down the three people inside. Isaac and Anna soon arrive as well. When the alarm goes off, Sam knows strangers have breached the perimeter. Outside, Charles spots suspicious movement and rushes back inside to protect Danique. Moments later, armed men storm the bedroom, and Charles swiftly takes them down. He hands a gun to Danique and teaches her to shoot anyone who enters the room except him. Once she understands, Charles heads outside and unleashes a brutal counterattack, tearing through the attackers. Sam fights his own battles nearby, taking down enemies one by one. But during a moment of distraction, Anna appears behind him with a knife. Sam quickly overpowers her, and just as things escalate, Isaac arrives and forces Sam to stop. Sam demands to know how they found him when this house was supposed to be invisible to everyone. He accuses Augustus of sending Isaac. Sam brings up Isaac's family in Los Angeles, and that immediately weakens him. Isaac admits that Augustus has been watching him for 10 years because he once tried to build a family and almost retired. Augustus wants to make sure Isaac never escapes the violent world he belongs to. Anna finally confesses the truth. They are there for 3 contracts: Danique, Charles, and Sam himself. Everyone in the house is on the kill list. As tensions rise, Charles reappears, and Sam tells him not to attack. Isaac explains that they were tracked because someone made a phone call. It turns out Danique had called her aunt to say she was alive. That single call exposed them. Realizing they are all in danger, they decide to join forces. Isaac even calls Augustus and reports that the job is done. After hanging up, Isaac tells them that Augustus will be at the horse track tomorrow. He plans to return home and move his family before they become targets too. Before leaving, he hands over his car so Charles and Danique can escape safely. As soon as Charles and the others leave, Sam cuts off the finger of one fallen attacker. A few moments later, Charles and Danique reach a tunnel. Danique apologizes for the phone call that exposed them, but Charles tells her that only 2 things matter now: her and their unborn child. They decide on a new destination and prepare to disappear. Not long after, Sam arrives. Charles asks him to escape with them, but Sam refuses. He has unfinished business and wants to settle everything himself. Charles worries for him, knowing the organization will never allow Sam to simply walk away. Sam insists that he deserves whatever comes. Someone has to pay for Nona's death, and he believes that burden is his. Charles finally understands and the two men part ways. Sam heads straight to the horse racing track to confront Augustus. Once they are alone, Augustus brings up news reports about gunfire, bodies, and a missing index finger. Sam hands him that very finger, claiming it as proof that he has killed Charles. Since the job is supposedly done, Sam asks to leave the organization peacefully. He accuses Augustus of trying to get rid of him and admits he feels used and betrayed. Augustus dismisses the finger as nonsense. Only a head counts as proof. The argument heats up until suddenly someone stabs Sam in the neck. His vision fades and he collapses. When Sam comes to, he is beaten, tied up, and barely conscious. Augustus appears on a video call, introducing someone who has been waiting for this moment. It is Bashkim, the Albanian gangster. Augustus explains that everything happening now is the result of Sam's own defiance. They demand the location of Charles and Danique, but Sam refuses to speak. Bashkim responds with brutal torment, throwing everything he can at Sam while taunting him to break his spirit. Through the pain, Sam begins to hallucinate again. He sees Nona, the woman he once killed, the one person who was ever a weakness to him. She tells him that he saw in Charles and Danique the life he could have had with her, which is why he tried to protect them. Sam laughs through the agony, and against all odds, he breaks free from his restraints. A violent fight erupts, and Sam manages to kill Bashkim and his men. On Augustus's phone, the boss keeps rambling, trying to justify himself, saying he had no choice and that he was only obeying the client, but Sam is done listening. Then something shocking happens. Nona appears again, but this time she is not a hallucination. She is alive. She reveals the truth Sam never knew. She had been planted by Augustus from the very beginning to recruit him. His broken past made him the perfect candidate to mold into a killing machine. And the final twist, the bullet Sam fired at her years ago never hit her. All this time, Sam had been haunted by his own guilt, not by her death. Nona pushes him again for the location of Charles, but Sam insists that Charles is already dead. She does not believe him. She drags him to the lake he once claimed as his ideal resting place, intending to end him there. Sam accepts his fate without resistance, but before she can pull the trigger, a single shot rings out. Nona drops instantly, killed by a sniper round to the head. The shooter is Charles. He used his legendary marksmanship to take her out, repaying Sam for saving him and his wife. At the now empty horse racing track, Augustus relaxes alone when his phone suddenly rings. The caller is not a gambler, but Charles, the organization's most valuable assassin. Charles calmly announces that he is officially retiring. Augustus immediately tries to lure him back with the promise of one final assignment, something big enough to settle every debt and close every chapter. That task is simple: hunt down Sam. But Charles is done with that life. No matter how hard Augustus tries to convince him, he has nothing left to give. He ends the call, leaving Augustus furious that his carefully crafted plan is falling apart. Before Augustus can regain his composure, his phone rings again. This time, it is Sam. He tells Augustus to check his clothes. In that split second, a sniper round tears through the air and kills Augustus instantly. With that, Sam walks to his car and leaves the track with Anna by his side. Now that he has finally stepped away from the world of contract killing, he realizes something that took him years to understand. All that talk about how hitmen do not need friends was nothing but a lie. So the moral of the story is, if your job is literally killing killers, maybe consider therapy instead of Wi-Fi controlled missiles.